Okay, welcome back to the Calligraphy Unscripted podcast. So I took an unscheduled break in January because of a deep cleaning of my studio that turned into a major deep clean and decluttering of my entire home. Now, I also ended up bagging 3 projects in January, which I'm sorry, for a social calligrapher, that is unprecedented. It was just like I launched out of 2024 like a cannon, which was unbelievable. February is much quieter. I'm at the end of my deep clean and I'm so excited to have free days to batch content. So obviously very high on the list was resetting this podcast, which I hope you weren't worried. It's not going anywhere. And I must say, this is my first time going live on TikTok, my favorite platform to actually record the podcast. So thank you guys for joining. You are witnessing history. I'm not sure how important of a historical period this is, but it's important to me. So I am doing this podcast all about cleaning up and really doing a deep cleaning of your studio. Social calligraphers, hobbyist calligraphers, any kind of calligrapher or hand letterer or any kind of artist, what happens is we end up having so many supplies, so many materials, you almost can't even think because there are so many things in your way. So I decided last year, maybe closer to the end of December, that I was really going to not just push clutter from one end of the room to the other, but I was actually going to start to throw things away. And I mean really examine it and really make a decision. Made decisions. Those are decisions that we are not making. And I am so guilty. I was just like, oh my God, that is me. Everything is, do it later. I can do it. No. Has to be done. So I did things that really surprised me. So, and I also had to write this down because I'm a rambler. I love to gab. So I have to write everything down. So first thing I want to talk about is the power of letting go. Now, it is so important to throw away hard to part with items. When I did a cleaning a while ago, a mantra that I stuck to was, if you can drive less than 20 miles and pay less than $20 for whatever it is that is keeping you from throwing this item away, then you should go ahead and purge it, right? Something that you just really don't want to see tossed in the garbage. But I think that you need to start to look at how it's being utilized. What are you doing with this item? Seriously. What are you doing with it? How many times has it come up in a cleaning effort and you put it to the side? There has to be a number there that you say, well, you know what? This is too many times. I'm going to go ahead and hold my breath, hold my nose, close my eyes, and I'm going to toss it. It's something that is sentimental to you. Are you even able to display it in a way that's meaningful so you can look at it? A lot of the stuff is buried. So what? You have a sentimental attachment to something that's in a box. You don't even see it. What do you need it for? Oh, it's maddening. And if you guys don't have this type of clutter and this is not relatable, good for you. I'm telling you, you don't want to go here. It is a very sad place to be. And there's a lot of work that you have to do to dig yourself out of this situation. Really can't see yourself getting rid of it. You at least have to remove it from the studio. Put it in the basement, put it in the attic, deal with it later, but it cannot become a part of your workspace. It just can't. Okay, so then the next thing I want to talk about is strategic organization for creativity. Now, this is something that it's going to sound very strange. And I mean, everything that I want to put my hands on, or I need to put my hands on as far as the creative process goes, workflow, all of that, I have it at my fingertips. Now, I am able to simply reach and pick the thing up. I don't have to get up to go do it. I don't have to do any of that. I can just reach for it. And I know that sounds insane, but what happens is in a lot of creative spaces, there are multiple tables, there are multiple shelves, there are multiple places where things are, and it can be frustrating and it can interrupt your creative process if you have to get up and go grab something. And it depending on the state of your studio, maybe you've been putting stuff on the floor, you've been working. It's not even easy to get up eyes or whatever, it's just almost like you can never even walk in your own studio. And it's not because the studio is so small, it's just because of how you have almost boxed yourself in based on putting things to the floor, that you're working on. So it's crazy. What would happen before is I would continue to clean the studio and then I would start working, but then nothing would make sense. And my tables, everything just ended up stacked with papers, stacked with sketchbooks, stacked with markers, supplies, or whatever I was using to draw with. Or even if I was practicing calligraphy, it was just stuff everywhere. And I'm like, this is complete madness. I've said this before. In my basement, there are a couple of large boxes and they are full of empty containers, because part of making sure that you've got a workflow that makes sense means that you have to get rid of containers that are not doing their job. How many of us have brought those spinners, those spinning containers that you put pens in, or you have a cylindrical container just for markers on either side? I mean, everybody has those. But if you've got multiple containers and they are doing the same thing, I had nibs. I've got a TikTok where I indicate where I bought a large container for my nibs. I have my nibs in multiple locations. And it's just kind of like, well, if they're in multiple locations, are they really doing their job? I would always like to replace multiple containers with one container that's going to do a better job. And it's going to take up less real estate. So just think about that. The inkwells. Let's move on to the inkwells. Inkwells, for a calligrapher or a letterer, they can really mount up. Now, I had multiples. I probably had maybe over 100 inkwells. I know that sounds crazy. Let me show you one just in case you need to see. So inkwell is basically what you sit ink in. And I know it sounds crazy, but because you are doing this work consistently and you're constantly testing out new inks, you will accumulate a lot. So I literally had a big tub full of inkwells that were full of ink. They were nasty because I wasn't cleaning them out as soon as I finished using them. They just mounted up, but they were good. They were good inkwells. Why should I throw these out? So that turned into a huge job, just cleaning those up. So I tackled mine with a mix of Dawn, green alcohol, and boiling water. So I cleaned them thoroughly. And it was a revelation just seeing how much space I reclaimed just by organizing and cleaning what I already had. That was insane. I had to, like this one. This is like an actual glass one and not plastic, and it's got a lid on it. So, you don't want to throw that away. It was just time to reclaim those jars, period. Organizers, I was influenced by those drawer organizers that were on here on TikTok, and instead of putting them in a drawer, I actually put them along my calligraphy shelf just to organize the inks better, just to organize the inkwells better. It was just mind-blowing how much better I felt about the materials that I had to be able to organize them that way. So don't have to get the drawer organizers for drawers. They can also be put on a shelf that usually has stuff everywhere. I'm telling you, don't sleep on that one. I want to talk about confronting the hoarding tendencies in art, because there is a tendency. What happens is, you're learning so much as an artist, as a calligrapher. You're taking classes. You may be connected with an organization that has other calligraphers in the organization. You see the things that they do. You talk about things that you can try, styles that you can try, techniques. And so what happens is you go in these art stores, or you go in these like my calligraphy guild, the Chicago Calligraphy Collective. We have spring meetings. We have what is called a calligraphy flea market. You go in, people put a lot of supplies out there that they're no longer using, but are very good. Between that type of shopping and between the shopping in the normal art store, there is this aspirational thing that takes you over, really. And most other artists and calligraphers go through this because I've asked them. There are just supplies and you just buy them, and it's like you really believe that you're going to use them. But in a lot of cases, you're not. You're just not. You're not going to incorporate a new technique. You're not really going to practice that thing you said you were going to practice. So what happens is you just end up hoarding so many supplies. I've taken to sorting, donating, and sometimes selling excess supplies to ensure that they find. Once I find a calligrapher, somebody who wants to do lettering or something like that, and they are in my wheelhouse, I give them so much stuff because I'm like, oh my God, you know what? Go, my child. Please use these materials that I'm giving you. Please practice. I want you to have this stuff. I hate stingy calligraphers. I hate people that are just hoarding. I'm like, you're not going to use all this stuff. Now, owning more of these materials don't boost your creativity. That's another lie. You think if you buy that new sketch pad that's going to make you creative. That's not going to make you creative, okay? It's not going to make you creative. Now, the only thing that's going to make you creative is using these sketch pads. It is an indictment against creative people, calligraphers, whoever you are, that have 20, 25 blank sketchbooks. Your only job is to fill those sketchbooks. I am on punishment. I can't buy another sketchbook. The only thing that I buy like that, I'll buy it for my patrons. I've got a Patreon. And I send it to them. Because they're excited. They're new. They're actually probably going to use this stuff. But as far as I'm concerned, no. No. I can't buy any more of that stuff because I've got plenty of stuff to be creative on. I just need to, ding, 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 be creative. It's about fostering creativity through action, not accumulation. You don't need another supply. Hear me, beloved. You likely have everything you need to be successful. You just need to sit down and do it. Just do it, okay? As we're in first quarter, this is envelope season. This is when a lot of clients are approaching social calligraphers because they want to get their invitations out for these weddings happening this summer. Around 2018, people's attention spans just turned to mush. And so we caved, a lot of calligraphers caved and started posting calligraphy, us doing calligraphy and doing it very fast. And it has changed people's perceptions of this craft. You think that this stuff is going to happen like overnight. People will hand me a box of envelopes and say, what do you need? 2-3 days? What? So, it's a slow process. Again, I want to reclaim my time. I feel like that, time has become, what is time now after COVID? So I want to really rededicate myself to taking my time and not looking for shortcuts and dedicating myself to this craft of calligraphy. It's slow. So what? So what? It didn't happen quick. So we should care about this discipline enough to take the time to actually do it. Okay, finally. Now, the impact of a clean studio, a decluttered studio, the impact on your productivity and your mindset is, I can't even articulate it. The deep cleaning of my studio wasn't just about the physical space. It was a mental reset. Okay, now I've reorganized my tools. I've made everything that I need readily accessible to me. It's at my fingertips. I can grab it. This transformation has renewed my enthusiasm for calligraphy and cleared my mind for creative endeavors. I am ready. I am ready to work. I am ready to dedicate myself to practice. I can't just keep shuffling from commission to commission, from client project to client project, and everything in between is just, you know what I mean? Like there has to be passion. There has to be passion to actually dedicate yourself to this craft. And it can't just be reserved for people who are just discovering the craft. People who have been doing it forever. February marks my 17th year of being a calligrapher. Where's the passion? Got to get that back. And cleaning my studio really helped me regain some of that territory. So to those that are feeling overwhelmed by their workspace, consider this a call to action. A decluttered studio can lead to a clearer mind and heightened creativity. I am a witness, okay? If you embark on this journey, I'd love to hear about it, okay? So connect with me on Instagram or TikTok and share your story and let me know what changed after you really, and I'm not talking about shuffling junk from one corner of the studio to another. I'm talking about really confronting some of these things that you have not done anything with for years, or if you're newer, months. But I want you to confront these things that are not serving you, okay? At this, you are going to be able to see progress in your work towards becoming whatever you're trying to become, whether you're trying to become a better artist, a better calligrapher, a better hand letterer, whatever you're doing. But this junk has got to go. This junk is stopping a lot of us from what we need to do. Thanks for tuning in. I am so glad that I did this. I am finally getting this done. I am a newer TikToker. I've only been on here for a year. I got about 1,000 followers. I would love for you guys to join me. Thank you for joining me here. So hit that follow button. Let me know if there's anything that you're looking to see me generate content on. My purpose is to help you grow and help you become a better calligrapher. And I've got the resources for you to consume in order to do it, both free and paid, okay? So as far as my podcasting audience, those of you guys in your cars, those of you guys that are subscribed to me through Apple and Spotify, I am so glad, I'm so sad that I was gone for so long, but I'm glad that I'm back. I'm glad I'm back in your cars or wherever it is that you're consuming this podcast. And your feedback and ideas for future episodes are always welcome. So email me at calligraphyunscriptedqa@gmail.com. Again, it's calligraphyunscriptedqa@gmail.com. If I knew better, I would have put that in this little green screen thing so you could see the email. But yeah, this was successful for me. I think that what I want to do is I want to schedule this out, like be like, okay, I'm live on Fridays, whatever, but I had to get my feet wet, so this was unannounced. So thank you guys for all hopping on here, and thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. Send me an email or hit me up on TikTok or Instagram in the DMs. Happy New Year, and here is to a productive and creative 2024. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.